Hello. Yeah, I know that I have been absent for a really long time. Not sure how long. Yeah, probably it's not the longest time. I was not making any videos, and yeah, like in February or so, I had so much ideas, but there was something that was holding me back from making videos. Then I was like, yeah, I want to, and I removed the thing that was holding me back. But then I had no ideas, so so nothing was happening. But yeah, I wanted to start to create from like this month more because I have created more time and space for focusing on it. So I needed to give myself few sessions with the Shayla to remove the resistance, because making videos is not natural for me. I'm introverted more than extroverted, although sometimes it may seem that I'm extroverted, but I'm definitely more introverted. I don't need to make videos of myself or take selfies and stuff like that. So there is definitely always resistance when I don't do it a long time. Well, so I have already made or created a channeling for you that I will attach after my intro speech. So yeah, I definitely would like to start creating more because it helps me, and I know, so it's for me, because it's like something I know that I need to be doing, I should be doing. So that's why when I'm not doing it, I'm not feeling well. So yeah, that's the reason mainly the reason why I'm doing it. And of course, like I have unfortunately, sometimes for myself, big helper in myself. I like to help. It of course makes me feel. Yeah, I have a microphone. Different microphones should be doing this. So I definitely have automatic need that I really want to help, and it makes me feel better, of course. So it's a secondary. For at first I need to do it, for myself and to unstuck my energy. But then, if it helps anyone, that it's additional bonus. So I'm not going to be speaking too much before this, today's channeling that I want to share. And yeah, hopefully there are two new ideas that I have for yeah, I shouldn't have done maybe like this. I know that in a British this means something. Okay, sorry. So yeah, I have two new old ideas that I have not been acting for a long time. So one of them is for years, and one of them is like less than a year. So I will see. Like I would like to bring something new, and hopefully I can reinvent and put a little bit more traction to my channel again. And so thank you for anyone who still stayed with me, subscribed and waited for me to, create something more. And I know there are at least few people like that. I don't know how much or how many, sorry. Yeah, my English is not always the perfect, but yeah, whatever it is. So yeah, thank you for waiting for me to create more, and I hope you will be satisfied in at least next weeks, and hopefully I will be able to push it into long-term creation. So thank you very much and enjoy today's channeling. Hello, dear Earthlings. Today I would like to speak to you about a certain topic that is usually perceived or not just perceived, but presented in a negative way. And it is about regulation. That's you have unregulated emotions or nervous system, and you need to regulate it because it's not appropriate, not welcomed. So I would like to offer you a different angle. Of course, when you are unregulated from trauma and you are still in a very sensitive spot, sensitive stage of your healing journey, when you are just in a way waking up or bringing it to the surface. First of all, of course, in those moments, you are not even meant to self-regulate. So that is not the points of where I would like to speak to you about. And those moments are when you shouldn't be trying to self-regulate, but you should be actually trying to really fully feel it when it's happening and let it settle on its own. But later, when you go through this journey for a very long time, you have learned, not just through private moments, but through the situations that are teaching you, that have been teaching you a lot, to readjust yourself to, and usually it's about boundaries and boundaries towards certain behaviors that have caused you trauma in the past, in the childhood, or even in adulthood, when you have been not having enough filters for it. You are now you're in a stage when you have more filters for that type of behavior and you are not letting it through. But you may feel sometimes like your system is reacting still a little bit too strong when you are trying to reinforce your boundaries, when you are trying to reinforce who you are now, and you don't feel completely settled in who you should be, because spirituality is always presenting to you that you should, when you are in a healed stage, when you are completely healed, you shouldn't be behaving in certain ways and so on. But what I would like to tell you is that it's not about those flare-ups you are experiencing of certain reinforcements of the boundaries. It's not that those are incorrect. That is your new grounded lessons that you have learned, that have been and needed to integrate within yourself. Those are supposed to be there. But the point of what I want to tell you and present to you, the idea that I invite you to feel within yourself, even right now when you are listening to me, those moments, those points of view that you are feeling like they are a little bit too strong right now, they are still unhealed. That's why you are behaving a certain way, or you reinforce a little bit too much sometimes. I want you to see them as they are supposed to be. They are supposed to be that strong. They are not unhealthy. You are not expressing them in unhealthy ways. The self-regulation that you right now need is actually finding the way to not resist that new part of you, because it even means that you are not fully letting it integrate the new strong version of yourself. So you really need to allow it to fully integrate that strength that you are feeling from growing through the heart, experiencing, and what have learned or what it teached you, what you have learned from it. And you need to fully integrate it, you fully need to own it. Because, and yes, you may be afraid that it would mean you would be even more expressive about them. But it's still a certain way of trauma that you are resisting full integration of this strength within you. Because you are afraid that you would maybe even become like your abusers. You would become like, you would be even stronger in presenting them. But you have to see those parts of you that are integrating through healing as a superpower. You need to see yourself as a Superman. See yourself as a Superman who has so much strength within his fingers and arms that he needs to be very gentle and be very present with his strength. His strength is innate. It's natural. He is not seeing it and labeling it something that he shouldn't have, you know. It's something that he is born with. So see this healed self as something that you should have always been, already been, if you have not fallen unconscious and let so many boundaries leave you, as you have been, you know, doing in a childhood, later in teenage years, and so on. So that part of you that is healed is something that is natural, and that's how you should feel. So see it as like Superman who is discovering his superpowers, and then understanding that it's nothing wrong with them, but that regulation, I don't want to call it regulation, because it tells you like, yeah, it's something negative, you need to regulate. It's not like that. I want you to reframe it as something that is extremely well programmed, settled within yourself, as it should be, you know, through the healing. How you would be able to become something bad through the healing process? It's not possible. So anything that you truly gain through true healing, true investigation of yourself, and integration of lessons, it cannot be the wrong setting, wrong programming, wrong integration of new parts of yourself. So that's why I don't want to call it regulation, but you need to know yourself. You need to know your strength, and then learn more gentleness, be more present even with it, you know, ground it, be present, and never try to retract, because more you try to retract, more unstable it is. You actually need to be grounding it even more and more, and in the moments when it would like to, in a way, flare up, pause for a moment, even strengthen, become more aware of your strength, and then you can react to the situation that needs this new strong self. You can react in a way that would be more gentle and appropriate for a situation. But you don't need to dumb it. For example, if you are dealing in a situation that you shouldn't express it in a too harsh way, but it still needs to be there, you just need to ground it in even more and channel that strength through mindful, gentle expression. But it needs to be there. Usually it needs to be there even for the person you are dealing with, because they need that mirror. They need to be shown how that healed self, that new strength that you gain, can be channeled. So they are also not afraid to heal themselves. And they have a reference, true reference of the calm reinforcements of the boundaries. It will provide them more safe space to reflect on themselves as well, to heal, and potentially know a more direct way into reintegrating themselves in a more healthy way as well. So the lesson of my speech today is to ground the strength, never to resist it, never to be afraid of it, but focus on grounding it more and more, and literally seeing it as your new superpower, never rejecting it. Superpowers in a Superman universe, not necessarily in a X-Men universe, are seen as something positive. Of course, not going into our stories when Superman also is seen as a bad guy, but in a usual sense, it's always a positive hero, you know, who is helping with the strength that he has. So see yourself as that version of the Superman or Supergirl or Superwoman or Wonder Woman, whoever, and then grounding it, owning it, and bringing it into your meditation of reinforcing that new healed state. And you could even imagine or revisit moments when you felt that you have used your strength a little bit too much in those moments, and maybe even imagine new situation that could happen and channel from the past experiences when you revisit the moment and you imagine you acted in a way that was more appropriate and the way how you liked it, then you can reprogram yourself for the future events as well. And you can even, as I said, bring that energy state from the past event when you have corrected it on a spot in the meditation, bring it into imagination of a new possible scenarios and how you would behave in those moments. This way you would be culminating it and grounding it within yourself. And of course, at the end, always, whatever state you have achieved in the meditation, always bring it deeper within yourself and ground it. Really try to settle it within who you are in the moment. So that is end for today of my speech, and I hope it will help you to go further, even further on your healing journey and reinventing yourself. So thank you for listening, and I will come back with some new insights, a new reframing of whatever you need for your healing journey and becoming the best self in a way that is more beneficial for you and others, not necessarily what needs to be presented in the best way for many other people's beliefs. So thank you very much, and I see you later.